back, everybody, to A&M Reviews. It's Muhammad and Adrian, and today we're going to review the Netflix original film Straw, which is a Tyler Perry original film. And this film stars Taraji P. Henson as Janiyah Wilkinson, Sherry Shepard as Nicole, Tiana Taylor as Detective K. Raymond, Sinbad as Benny, Rockman Dunbar as Chief Wilson, and Mike Morrell as Detective Grimes, and Glenn Turman as Richard. But this film is about a single mother navigates a series of unfortunate events, leading her down an unforeseen path where she becomes embroiled in a situation she never envisioned, finding herself at the center of suspicion in an indifferent world. So what did you get from the film Straw?
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a good movie. Even better than I thought it was going to be. There's some editing issues that were pointed out, and some things I noticed just in watching the movie um, that told me this is one of his week-long projects, but that's fine. Otherwise, it was pretty good. I think Taraji P. Henson did a good job kind of becoming this character. Um, it didn't feel like I was watching her in a movie. I felt like I was watching a unique character. So, um, and they piled on pretty heavy the hardships, but um, I was hooked to the end.
Yeah, she does a good job of playing pretty broken characters. Um, you know, I think she has
Yes.
a long history of playing that type of role, and I felt like it was a mix of the Joker, one bad
Hmm.
day,
Hmm.
and then also John Q
Yeah, it was very John Q.
with Denzel
I was
Washington.
I was thinking we're gonna go to the hospital. I was expecting that to happen. Just a rip off.
But also, I felt like it shouldn't have lasted this long. Like, she was not somebody who was very elaborate
Mm.
with what she was doing. She was, not as an insult, but simple minded. But yeah, that standoff shouldn't have lasted that long.
I don't know. I feel like if you're unstable and they think you have a bomb, well, it's gonna make it longer.
Yeah, I guess they want to be
Yeah.
safe, but still.
Now I could hear the argument of the negotiation piece not being very realistic and how that would have went down.
Yeah. Um, but it definitely did have me on my toes some. Um, I would probably call this a thriller in a way, but yeah, some of the things, especially in the beginning, I didn't expect it to happen like that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, you never know once you're put in a certain situation. Because she was like everything was just falling apart.
Right.
Her child was sick, and she needed certain medications just to function, and um, she's got all this noise around her. So you never know what will happen whenever you're pushed to the, I guess, your limits. But she acted, and yeah, a lot of things happen, but
Yeah.
I, it's hard to say if I react like that.
I
I
don't
mean,
think I would react like that. But then you get to the end and you're like, I don't know, would I react like that if that all happened the way it happened? Is that the breaking point? I don't know if I would have broke that way. I also don't know. It it's interesting. The way it ends makes you question a lot throughout. Um, and I plan to go watch it again, I think, to see if there's any clues or signs to how it ends and the way it ends. Because there are a few things. There's really one moment that I'll talk about where um, I'm like, it's interesting they chose not to show that, but chose to use that time to show this. And then it just makes it a little bit confusing, but very, I think, intentionally so.
yeah. Um, and also, this could be a spoiler. We don't have to go into all the details yet, but The character near the beginning who ends up dying, do you think he deserved it?
Oh gosh. You know what? I will say that whole sequence of events took me back to my second job working at Kmart. There's only ever two registers open. I worked after high school, so I got there around 5 or 6 o'clock. People were mad. The AC didn't work. It was hot. The red vest. it it took me back to that time. But
Nightmares.
people are mean. People are mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you tell a woman that her coupon is for the wrong kind of diapers, you would think you just shot her in the face. You would be surprised the stuff that set people off in Kmart at the register. Um, I mean, someone ringing something up that's not the right price. I don't want anymore. Whole lines backed up again. Okay, I got to move all this stuff out the way. Need a manager override. Um,
Well, I don't blame him for not wanting it after the discount is not, applied.
but it's like you're not gonna take it off the rack. Just put it back in your cart, push it around, just gonna walk away. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to everybody involved. Don't let me have to get up and find a price check. Oh, and you're just hoping there's not an issue. And you work there long enough, you got regular customers, and you know who the problem people are. They always want something off the floor that's on a discount, or they take the sticker for the sign and bring it up to the register, knowing good well that's not for that, or that's expired. And they're like, I need you to ring this up. And no, I can't do that. What the last person did. Well, you know what? They're not here. So here we are. I felt that. I don't know who did that for you, but I did do that. And I'm not about to make it up or try. Just please. If I said I can't do it, I can't do it. I remember this is terrible. I remember because I was under 21 when I was working at uh, Kmart, and I guess the rule at the time was you can be under 20. You can't be under 21 and sell alcohol. Or I think you can't be under 18 and sell alcohol. Um, and I worked in electronics, so my cash register was often not busy. And there was a guy who would come by all the time and just walk back to my register and buy alcohol. And then I came up to the front to fill in, and he came to the line and was going to ring it up. And manager said, "Oh, you can't ring that up. I got to ring it up." And he looked at me so confused, like, "You always ring this up." I'm sorry. Well, I can't do it now. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, everything from it being too hot, going in the back to check stock, or to just stand there or walk in a circle, um, and you got to line up. The worst was layaway. I ever tell you about that? How many layaways we would lose at Kmart because the
No.
back of the warehouse looked like a hoarder's storage unit. It was once organized, but it's just cardboard boxes that are stacked 10 high and collapsed on each other. I mean, I w- I used to hope that we get randomly checked by the fire department because we'd be shut down. I mean, they're shut down now anyway, but we'd be shut down a little bit sooner because that back was so bad. And what would happen around like November when people were pulling off layaways, they would call me from electronics discreetly and pull me in the back and say, "This person's picking up their layaway and we can't find it. So I need you to go around the store with this receipt and just shop the receipt and bring it up here like it's on layaway, like it was their layaway." Um, and it was so hard because they'd buy toys and it would just say Barbie. And that is it. Is it black Barbie? Is it white Barbie? Is it pregnant Barbie? Is it Barbie with a dog? I don't know. So I got to kind of guess based on the name on the receipt, what kind of Barbie would they buy? Um, And God forbid we don't have the stuff, we're out of it. People were like, wait a minute, I've been paying on this for 6 months. What do you mean it's out of stock? I mean, what I mean, it's not here. Go in the back and look. Ma'am, I can't. You can't get past the door in the back. I'm sorry. Um, we will have to refund you. I can't. One time, I made a woman cry at layaway. I was filling in for someone in layaway. and she was late on her payments. So the policy was, if you're late, the layaway is canceled and it gets sent, back to the floor. And I had just said that. I just said, "Oh, it looks like you were late in your payment, so it was canceled." I said it just like that. But my manager called me up, and mind you, I'm in like 11th, 12th grade. Calls me in the back and says, "Hey," she said, I don't think you meant to do this because you're very nice. But the woman whose leg was canceled, she said that you embarrassed her in front of everyone in line because her leg was canceled." And I said, "Oh, d- I mean, I didn't laugh. I wasn't trying to embarrass her. I mean, I can apologize, or if you want to apologize." She said, "No, I don't need you to. We apologize." She said, "I don't think you meant it any kind of way." She was embarrassed. "Well, I'm sorry. You couldn't pay 32.95 on Tuesday, and we put the stuff back. I just that's the way it was." Um, so it was a time. It was a time. Working at Kmart was fun, but definitely people would get yelled at, screamed at, cursed at. People wouldn't believe the store manager is a manager. That was hilarious when that would happen. People would be like, "I need a manager," and he's like, "Okay, he's right there. That's not the manager. I need the real manager." What? What do you mean? What logic are you using? His face is on the door. I don't know what else you need to prove he's the manager. Um, but to say all that, this manager did remind me of one of the managers that I had at Kmart. And you know what? I would not have been sad. I would have been very unfortunate. Could be a little ceremony, a little candlelight visual. Um,
Say some positive things
say,
about him.
say, this was somebody's father. This was somebody's son and somebody's brother, and we need to remember that in what they're going through. And you leave it at that. I think that would have been good enough because the
You
way
don't want to get up there and
the
lie.
way that he flipped the script on her so quick and said, "This is your fault." What?
Honestly, I felt. I mean, I don't want to condone violence, but I feel like he deserved it. Just the way he was talking to her, even before then. I was just like, there's no need for you to be like
It
this.
was a look of pure disgust in his face. Like, what did she do to deserve that? Just the look. That's the look you give a dog who doesn't know how to play fetch. Like, he was just so mad. So this is a
Sounds enough.
cake,
I gotta do your job now.
right? And I know it was hot. He looked shiny. I mean, it's unfortunate the AC didn't work, but that's not her fault. That's not
He
her
was not
fault at all.
understanding at all.
No, he was not. He made it worse.
Yeah.
He made it worse. The quotes just are endless. "You want me to give you a favor? 30 minutes. I don't. It's always something. Get on the register. Go to the back." Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was. He was a combination of people. So a few people, different people I worked with at Kmart. And
Sonic.
I mean, yes, that too. And when I worked at Sonic, there was a couple people that had those tendencies, especially when they got busy, they got a little hot and bothered. Um, and they would just talk to people like that. And that is just awful because you never know what somebody is going through. I ask myself often, because of the job that I have, um, I know that I could very well be somebody's villain origin story. I can do something because of my job that's going to take someone over the edge. I can suspend people from school. You know, there's fines, all kinds of stuff. And I just say, hey, treat them with kindness because, you know, if there's ever somebody who comes back with a vengeance, it could be from someone I talk to. So I do think about that often. I mean, I don't know about you, but my boss's boss a couple years ago, someone physically beat her up in the office.
Oh,
I mean, it's serious. It hasn't happened since. But, you never know what people are going through. So no need to be rude. I think about that in traffic. Like I would never get out of my car if someone cut me off in traffic. That's just asking to die. That's just
It's
you.
gonna die.
It is. There was a case a few months ago, maybe it was last year, of a guy who got out of his car during a road rage incident, and he was a big guy. Went up to the window, and the guy who he was about to argue with just pulled a gun out and shot him. Didn't get out of the car and kept and drove away. And he was not even charged with a crime
What?
because the man got in his face threatening. And I can't remember if he had a weapon or not, but I know he went up to the window and banged on it, and the guy just shot him immediately because he said I was scared for my life. And then
And he just zoomed
and
away.
he zoomed away. He called 911, I believe. And he was at no fault. Because you know,
He got away with attempted murder.
attempted. It was murder. He died.
Oh, the guy
He
died.
died. Let me see when this was. Um, uh, Let me see.
Wow.
This was Deadly Road 8. Oh wow, that's 2 days ago. Wow, this was not that one. Um, mm, May 1st. Man who fatally shot. Yeah, okay. Man who fatally shot driver in road rage incident near looks like Armory Square will not face charges. In this story, um, let's see. District Attorney Office says grand jury determined that the charges against the shooter were not appropriate. The office did not release shooter's name. Da-da-da-da. Let me see if it tells the actual story. Okay. Hicks Jr. got out of his car. Hicks Jr. got out of his car as the two continued to engage, but later returned to grab a chef style knife and then
Mm,
ran towards the shooter's vehicle with the blade side of the knife protruding from the pinky side of his clenched left fist. Hicks Jr. was then shot 3 times in the chest. Um, the police department previously stated that. Oh, it's got these ads. Okay. Uh, Previously said that he was shot in the head. He was 5 feet from the shooter's driver door. He died at the hospital shortly after. Um, the district attorney's office noted the shooter had pulled forward and parked his vehicle. He and the passenger remained at the scene until officers arrived, and the weapon was a legally owned 9mm handgun. Literally, the guy who came to the door brought a knife to a gunfight that he started, and he died right there in the street.
wow.
Because the guy, I mean, traffic is traffic, and you don't know who's going to do what. So the guy with the gun was like, I'm going to be prepared should anyone approach me and threaten my life. And someone tapped it, came up to him with a knife. So he was within his legal rights, according to this is in New York where this one happened, Syracuse. According to that report, I mean, yeah, literally. Now in this case, Shania, I don't think she would have been. I don't think she would have been let go off them
Oh no.
charges.
No, once she made that decision, it was over for her.
Yeah, she. Yeah, and I mean, it's all on recording. Like it wasn't an accident.
No.
It wasn't an accident. And that one cop who believed what was going on, nah, they're not. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Nah, nah,
Yeah, she just snapped. So we're just gonna give her an excuse.
yeah, yeah. And I guess
You just murdered somebody.
we can say specifically. So at this point, Jania's life is falling apart. Her daughter's sick. She's getting to work. She needs money for her daughter's lunch because they're shaming her at school for not having lunch money. So she goes in the bag, asks the boss for money. He says no, and some other disrespectful stuff. Um, and she
Get out of
leaves.
here. You're fired.
Right, right, right. So she
You get
leaves.
your check in the mail.
And that's so disrespectful. I knew that's what's going to happen. I knew he was going to say that. I hate that. I hate that policy. Um, but he's like, and she's like, the check is right there. I was surprised she didn't just go run and grab it. But um, she left the building, was going to go to the school, but she has no money. So she also promised her landlord money because she owes late rent. Um,
She said she was gonna come back at like 10 o'clock
right,
in the morning on her break.
right. She's making much promises to a bunch of people about that. Um, so she goes to the bank and says, you know what, maybe I'll get money at the bank. And when she said this, again, relatable, unfortunately. I remember I was at cookout one time in undergrad. I got a new debit card and it wasn't turned on yet, but it declined at cookout because it wasn't turned on. I didn't know what was going on. I just figured it wasn't there. College, you just live on the edge. So I'm like, maybe it's not there. Maybe this meal is not right. But it was just the card wasn't activated. But in this case, Janaya has $47 in her account. It says, I need $40. And she can't get it because that's the minimum balance, which I think she's already under, actually. Um, so you
Should have got a bank with no fees
right should
and no minimum
uh
balance.
should have got online banking or something.
Yeah.
Ally Bank, I don't know. Uh, so she can't get the money out of the bank, which is unfortunate. So she goes to the school with the scraps that she has. Goes to the school, finds out unfortunately she may be losing rights to her child because of issues. The child's been sick, been falling, has seizures, uh, doesn't seem to have the
But
best care.
normally they don't do that. Like they do a house visit before they,
Yeah,
show up to the school. Like, oh no, you're not. We're gonna take your child.
right, right, right.
It doesn't work like that.
No, that was something that's definitely not quite how it go in the real world. And this is where I start to ask myself, now that I've watched the movie, there are parts that I think are intentionally realistic. Her going into that Kmart-esque store and being chewed out by her boss in a sweaty, no AC, old supermarket store with two people at the register and both of them ain't working right and food stamps being, all of that was so accurate. So accurate. But we go to the school and this happens. And that feels like a big escalation and maybe not something that would happen in real life. And I think those little things, maybe more credit than is due. I don't know. It is Tyler Perry. But, you know, maybe that was intentional.
Well, yeah. I mean, so many bad things are happening to her, and she just needs the one glimpse of hope to get her through the day, because her landlord is about to kick her out, throw her stuff on the street. Um, her job. Now she says she has two jobs, but I guess this is her daytime job, working at the supermarket. And the guy, he has not given her a break at all, saying that she's always got excuses.
Mm.
Um, he's sick of her. You're pretty much about to get fired. I'm always doing the work for you, which I kind of doubt that he is.
No, get on the
He does.
register.
Yeah, he's doing too much complaining, not doing anything. So
That
I
was
don't
my
think he
favorite
actually.
too. You got the manager at Kmart who's telling everybody what to do. She get on the register, don't know how to even ring a person. Ain't been on the register since '92. Mm.
But they could yell at you.
But they yell at you.
Sorry, I had some water going down the wrong way. But what were we saying? So so yeah, all that stuff is going on, and she shows back up to work after learning that her daughter is pretty much getting taken away from her. She's like, I just need to get my check cash. Even though at this point he's like, you're fired. Don't come back. Um, you get your check in the mail. She's like, I know, it's just right there. Can I just get it? He's like, what part of you get your check in the mail that you don't understand?
And his tone was so disrespectful. And his
The whole
eyes,
time.
the way he was looking at her, like you just don't get it. I think he said that at one point. I was just
Yeah, he
like,
did.
oh man, I am hurting right now. I just feel it took me back to Sonic. I'm just job trauma. On my first, it was I think my first week, and I didn't know how to read the codes on the on the little ordering system, um, and I put mayo on a sandwich by accident. Boss was like, "Oh, it's all right, okay. Just start over, grab another bun, put it in the warmer, and then put it's just mustard and ketchup. That's okay, mustard, ketchup, and so I'm going again, and I go straight for that mayo and put it right on the bun, and I'm just like, oh my god. And he said, no, mayo. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay. Just start over.
No, you really started to feel the
It's
pressure.
not even pressure. And then he just scrapes the mayo off. Like he's like, no more new. He just scrapes it off and says, mustard ketchup. And I said, okay, okay. And my hand goes to the mayo again. Move. I had never felt so incompetent in my life. I was just like you're yelling at me, and I don't know how to do this.
Just making a burger.
Can do it. It was too much pressure. You got everything ringing behind you. All the machines are beeping. The fries are coming up. You got six people, and the menu and the little ordering system is going so fast. You can't see the ordering.
You see all those people lining up in cars, like they keep just building. And you haven't finished one yet.
It's like people like you should probably do this whole station by yourself, fry the burgers and put them together, and you just put them together. And it's like, hold on, why is the code for mayo a Y, and why is the Y also cherry? I don't understand. SB1 YKM NP. That's not a sandwich. That's a cheat code. I don't understand. Just so much going on. So I try to be mindful of that when I'm talking to people in customer service too, because I don't know what's on their side of the screen and what they're going through. Because
And you've been there.
it's been there, stressful. Okay, I mean my job is
It's
hard.
underrated.
My job is hard for different reasons, but serving people food at 5:30 in the afternoon on a Friday on a half off burger day is so
And they want you to make that sandwich in like 7 seconds or
7
less.
seconds or less start to finish, made to order fresh beef. I mean, I couldn't eat a Sonic burger for like a year, 2 years after working there. It just the smell brought up too many negative memories. That my hand started to hurt, like it was burned again,
From the
from the
grill.
grill and the fryer. Gosh, too many tots in the basket. They're overloading. They're popping. Oh, it's yelling at you again. Like it's the easiest thing. All you got to do is put it in the fryer. I'm like, I know.
And he probably had that look of disgust. Like, you just
Yes.
don't get it, do you?
It's whenever. It's whenever they just pause and take a step back and just stare at you. Like he nailed that
It's the
look.
look of disgust.
He nailed that look in this movie because it's like I felt this before. I felt
It's
that
the look of disgust on his face.
disgust, disappointment. Um, like
I can handle disappointment, but just disgust. Just
you just don't get it, do you? Hold on, wait.
like you're so stupid. Like they're just looking at you like you're just so stupid.
Like I promise, I'm trying. I'm just going through a lot right now, and I'm just under a lot of pressure. Yes,
Just to make a burger.
hardest work I made in my life was working at Sonic. So I thought Kmart was easier in different ways. At least it wasn't like in front of a fryer. But the customers at Kmart made it harder. Um, there were some who were nice. There were a lot who were nice, but the ones who were not, the ones who are problems, and you get that certain manager, you're like, gosh, they close tonight. Ah, it's gonna be hard. Can't never do nothing right.
Yeah.
Always call you on the radio. Come to the back. Okay. Get on the register. I've had that too. Get on the register. Matter of fact, no, register's so close. Come to the back. Oh no. Oh no. What happened now? I've had a till. I've had my cashier till be uh $50 under before. Um I've had it be $100 over. I don't know what was happening. It just I remember being called in the back one time. They were like, we watched the cameras and we don't think you're stealing anything because last week you turned in your money bag and it was $35 short, but this week you're $135 over, and I don't understand how. I don't either. I don't know. Maybe give me money and then a penny and saying, I'm gonna pay you over a penny and get this much back. I already pushed the button, sir. I don't do the math. I just do I don't know what you're saying. And especially electronics, everything costs a lot of money. So I was always dealing with big bills. And I'm sure I blessed some people, and some people went home and were gypped, and we never found out. Kmart, a lot of old people, a lot of old customers. So, they go into the bank, get that envelope full of hundreds, and they get sick. So sometimes I had a little extra. It was hard. It was hard. That's a stress. Everybody needs to work in retail or fast food at least one time in their life. You will
Oh
have
yeah.
you will have so much more respect for the service industry. So much more
Most
respect.
definitely.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, that man with look at disgust, he nailed that. I think he must have interviewed or followed somebody around who's an old school manager. You just don't. Oh, that took me back. That took me back. So stupid. Yes.
just like just like with that look where they just stare down at you and then their mouth is just like halfway open.
A little lip quiver. Like we don't know what to
Yeah.
say.
They don't know what to say. They just lost for words. Like this idiot, this incompetent clown can't get it.
And it's like we were trying. I was trying. So I understood tonight. I understood. It's not her fault. The line was delayed. That lady was trying to use her stamps on regular food. It don't work like that. Um, and you're not gonna be a happy customer. And I was late. I've been there too. It's hard. It is hard. Um, so I felt for her. I did. I don't know. I don't think he deserved to die by any means. But
I don't know,
I,
man. The way that he was talking just sideways at her constantly, like just no sympathy.
he put in so many insults in a short amount of time because he wasn't in the movie that long.
Maybe 5 minutes, but he's the biggest catalyst
I
for the
was
whole
so
thing.
mad.
uh, I mean, it wasn't just him. So it's pretty much there's this random guy who just comes in the back, and I forgot what he was asking for, but pretty much it's a stick up, and he's
Yes.
trying to rob them, and he's like, "Put all the money in the bag." Um, and I think he starts to, I don't know, walk away or it's something like that.
I think
She just wants her check.
she wants her check, and they're getting robbed. And um, he says her name. He says Janaya, and as she's wearing a name tag that has her name on it. And when he says the name, the manager's like, "You set this up. This is all you." Yeah, because I think he says her name, and she gets into a little bit of a fight with him because she wants her
Hmm.
money, and he's stealing that too. Um, and the gun goes off, and he is hit. Um, she ends up with the gun in her hand, he's calling 911, the manager, and blaming her. And even on the phone call, he was saying it like this is punishment. Like, I know it wasn't you, but I know, but I'm gonna say it's you. Yeah, yeah. This is all your fault. You're awful. Yeah.
He was still throwing insults while
It's
she had a gun in her hand.
just so stupid. Come in the mail. Can't get the check. And it was the way that she decided, you know what? He needs to go. It was the look in her face when she said, I'm going to the dark side. I saw it. I get it. I get it.
It's like that. It was just like that one moment, like where you just kind of out of
When
it.
we got free
Like she
will.
just,
Yeah, I could do whatever I want. There's consequences, but I could do whatever I want.
she, and then just straight murked him. And
Only got her
honestly, I
check.
didn't feel that bad for him. Just the way that he was just talking, the look of disgust that he had on his face. It was hard for me to feel bad for him at that
It's
point.
company policy. And when you find the check is in the mail, the check is right there. It's company policy. Why don't you understand? It's like, oh my gosh.
What do you not understand?
Yeah, he was treating her like dirt. It was very disrespectful.
Oh yeah, really disrespectful. But that was his downfall. He ended up getting killed by her. Um, Not that she planned on doing that at all. Really, the rest of this movie, she had no plan.
No. And no regrets about him anyway. Um
Oh no,
that's-
really, they didn't name him or anything.
no.
I mean, he was kind of just a casualty. So, yeah, she really continues on what she was trying to do in the first place, just get her check cashed and um, pay for her daughter's medication and try to get her back. So, um, almost like she did that, like that didn't even happen.
Right.
She she just went on to the bank. Um, I guess there was no blood that splattered on her.
It was on the check.
Whenever, oh, okay,
That's
on the
right. The
check.
bolt's on the check. And you do have now you have a split timeline where you have the point of view from the officers that are called after the shooting, and then you have her point of view in the bank at the same time.
Also, just to interject for a second, they really should have called up to her before she went to the bank
Oh,
because she has no car.
yeah,
Because prior to this,
yeah,
she was driving.
on the
I think
break.
it was either to the school or yeah, it was somewhere. It was during this whole day because really, this thing takes place just in one
Yeah,
day. The whole
it's a little
movie.
play.
Yeah, but it's raining really hard. She's driving, and then this guy kind of cuts her off, blames her, starts to get the road rage, and says, I'm gonna find a legal way to kill you because he's actually
Hmm.
an officer, but he's off duty. But he's getting all up in her face. Um, Another officer is actually called in to get her license and registration. I just thought that he was just going
Oh
overboard.
yeah,
Like it really just did not take all of that.
no,
Like, like what are you doing?
you
Like that?
messing up your own car. You being extra difficult. Yes, overkill.
Yeah, I I don't think I've ever heard of an officer having road rage and trying to run somebody off the road.
Not like that. No.
Yeah, it just that just seemed a little bit too unrealistic. But yeah, he threatens her, says that he's gonna find a legal way to make sure that she's dead or something like that. And there's a female officer who, asks her for her license and registration, but just to pile on, all of her stuff is expired. So she's like, we have to take this car because
Mm.
your registration is expired. You're driving around with expired license tag. So yeah, we got to take that. And she's like, no, I got to pick up my baby and get the medication and go to the bank and stuff like that. And, her car is, taken. So all of these places she's walking to,
Mm.
um, and just thinking about it, I think they said the The bank was right across the street from the
The
store,
bank was across the
right?
street from the store, but she had
How did the officers not? How did they not like literally go straight there?
well, some of that's out of, I mean, yes, but the time that we're seeing this happen, she has that interaction with the police officers and she walks back to the store and then gets fired. And she goes back wet,
Okay.
which is also what a man just mad. Look at you, wet all over you. What's wrong with you? I mean, he was talking like Mister from The Color Purple, like, Celia, you're ugly, you're that, ain't never gonna be nothing. Like he was really digging in. She can't. I mean, she's soaking wet. I mean, everything's going wrong. So that
The look
timeline,
of
yeah,
disgust.
right. So she leaves there, and then she walks across the street to go to the bank. Um,
But even
the
like
second time,
with that, like with that, where her just going across the street, they were literally right across the street.
yeah, yeah,
It shouldn't have taken that long to catch up to her.
it shouldn't.
Now I know they went back to her house.
Right. It shouldn't take them that long. And you know what? None of that would have happened if that teller would have just cashed her check.
Well, I mean, she didn't think that she was going to threaten her with a gun.
Well, even then, if you believe what she was saying, if she only gave her the $40 or the amount for the check, she would have walked away.
Yeah,
She would have walked away.
might have been no stick up or
Mhm.
anything.
But she goes to the bank, and she's greeted by the bank manager again. She was as well earlier in the day, who said, we're about to close. She said, please need the money. So she lets her in. Also a mistake. Had she not let her in, none of this would have happened either. Um, but she let her in to cash the check, and the check has blood on it, and she did not have her ID to cash said check. Um, but she has the gun in her hand from the previous interaction that she had. And she says she accidentally put it on the counter. I don't know about that. Um, kind of
Nah, ain't no
slam
accident.
that thing down.
Because it wasn't like she didn't have it where she was trying to show it
Right,
beforehand. She just, just slammed it on the counter. Like, cash my check right now.
right. And then she just starts giving her all the money in the back. She's like,
I didn't ask for all this
what are
money.
you doing? Just want to cash my check and leave. What are
My
you
$500.
doing? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and they eventually pull the silent alarm, which triggers the security company to call the boss. And then, what is probably the most hilarious thing in this, she has her daughter's book bag. Um, Now, this is also an editing issue because there's some points where they're in the bank and the book bag is moved, but then it's right back where it was, which doesn't make sense because it's with her. Um, but I never caught when and why she had that book bag on her at that time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she took it from the car whenever the car got repossessed. But I mean,
Possibly.
she didn't have it on her whenever they were getting robbed at the store.
No, she didn't have it on her there. And the book bag it has her daughter's medicine as well as a project. So it would make more sense for the bag to be with the daughter at the school, which I think it was when she was taken away. But that inconsistency may be intentional because you have an interesting narrator at this point in Janai. Um, but in this bag, there's a school project, and the school project looks just like a bomb. Like that would not be allowed in school. No. Looks like a bomb. And it's a clear backpack. So the manager was like, oh my God, she has a bomb. Wow. So this kind of is what brings up police moving over there. You have this dynamic duo of police who are investigating everything, one step behind Janaya. And one of them is like, okay, yeah, she murdered her boss, disgruntled employee. Makes sense. The other is like, well, what if she was attacked and having a rough day? Consider that. No.
It still doesn't justify killing
No, what are
somebody.
you talking about? Of course, I didn't think that was a possibility because that's not a possibility. That makes no sense.
It's really an open and shut case. I mean,
You would
it's
think.
caught on camera.
You would think. But nope. Nope. That officer's like, no, looks like she's being robbed. So I don't think we need to hunt her down in the same way. Let's ask some questions. Probably fine though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was to set up what we have later on, where she has that sentimental
Hmm.
moment with Janiyah, kind of telling her about her childhood and what she went through. Whenever there's some negotiating tactics,
Right.
but they try to control the situation. The local police with all the cars and other policemen, pulling out their guns and trying to tell her to come out. But Janiyah really doesn't have a plan at this point. She just wants to, cash her check, get out of there, and get the medication for her daughter. But at this point, that's not really a reality.
Mm,
I mean, you just killed somebody.
yeah.
You're holding up a bank. I mean, the charges just keep going higher and higher. There's no way out of this.
Yeah.
So she actually lets some people go. Let them just walk out. And there is a security guard
Mm,
that is in the bank,
terrible.
and he tries to take the gun away from her. But that failed. He failed miserably. Um, but somehow, she just lets him just walk out of the bank like it's nothing. Um, so there was no plan at all for what she was doing. Um, Even though she snapped, I mean, I would think that she would have like some type of logical thinking here, but there was no thinking. There was no thought. I mean, it was just like, honestly, I don't know what she was thinking because there's no way out of that what she was trying to do.
Yeah. She was racking her brain, thinking, okay, just murdered a man. But she's like, I didn't mean to murder him. It just, everything happened so fast. I just thought, oh. Um, and of course, you have the people who are being held captured or captive, trying to figure out if they want to sympathize in an effort to live or provide reality. Be like, girl, you're robbing a bank right now, and we're hostages. I don't think you're going home tonight.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, then she might kill you. Just be like, I got nothing to lose. I already killed one person. What's another person?
Mm,
I mean, just like that. So I wouldn't use those words with somebody with a weapon like that. I would be like, reassuring them, hey, everything's going to be okay. We're all going to get out of here. You know, maybe not in the way that we think, but hey, we all just want to leave here safely. Not saying, yeah, you go into prison
mhm.
for a very long time. Yeah. Person like that, they could do anything at that point. Um, but one of the receptionists, I mean, of course they all should be scared, but she's super scared and is being really impulsive. She is trying to find a way to kind of, get out of there, but the door is locked at one point. Um, there's some back and forth between the cops and Janiyah trying to negotiate on how to settle down all of these things.
Yeah.
There's a crowd that starts to come out in support of her because it starts to be put on live TV and she's um, telling everybody about all of her issues with her child, her rent, a place to stay, her job, just barely scraping by with what she
Mm,
has. Um, and then, that whole crowd comes out to support her. Um, and some of the people who are in there as hostages, they start to have some sympathy for
right.
her, but because they understand. But still, I mean, you can't stick up a bank and kill
Mm,
somebody. But but that look of disgust, I think that's what sent her over the edge.
mm. Yeah. It was
Uh,
definitely him.
It's definitely, yeah. You just don't get it, do you? That was just like, oh, like just calling you just so incompetent.
Right.
Like, you idiot. She should have jumped on him right there.
Mm.
It would have caused a lot less problems. I mean, a little fist fight. You would have got out of it okay.
Right.
But after that, the talks kind of stop. The FBI comes in and they take over the whole thing. Um, and the guy who is in charge of the FBI, um, he's really not listening to anybody. He's like, "Hey, it's time for you to come out of there. Let's stop this
Mm.
nonsense, Janaya. Like, come on now." Uh, I guess this is his first time. I mean, I don't think you should probably negotiate
No.
with somebody like that who allegedly has a bomb and a gun.
Yeah.
So that's just not smart. I mean, what are you doing? Um, but Detective Raymond, um, she still wants to talk to her because she feels like she's built a bond with her,
Hmm.
and she feels like she can talk her down. But Detective Raymond kind of takes things into her own hands because the FBI, they want to go ahead and get in there. They want to, go guns a blazing.
Right.
But Detective Raymond goes up to the front, tells her, "Hey, oh well, I'll mention this first. It comes to a point where she's saying that I see that cop that ran me off the road and
Hmm.
told me that he was going to find a way to legally kill me. I want him gone. Like I don't want him out there whenever I come out because he's going to end up killing me." Um, so she tells them, "Hey, send me a picture of the cop just so we know we have the right guy, so he's not out there whenever I do surrender and go out there." And that's when Detective Raymond shows her the picture. "Hey, this is the guy, or is this the guy that you were talking about?" And she says, "Yes." Now he's out of here. He's nowhere around. Um, after she's already, punched him in the face, the detective. um, but after that, we kind of get a little bit of I wouldn't say flashbacks, but maybe like a dream sequence of her going out and getting shot, which doesn't actually happen. But the bank manager, she is pretty much risking her life to make sure that Janaya is safe, even though she has a family and everything. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to say, "Yeah, I'll take your daughter in," but now I'm, put myself in front of a gun.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I got to draw a line there. I mean, I might say one thing in that moment, but given the opportunity, but I'm out of there. Because, yeah, I don't think I could risk that. I mean, just knowing that I have that family and now you could possibly kill me. I mean, I know that we built a bond in here, but hey, that can only go so far, especially with a gun in my face. But yeah, um, she does risk her life for her, and Janaya tells her, "Hey, yeah, I know that things won't really go too well once I get out of here, but I want you to adopt, take in my daughter for me, and you can just wait for me to get out. So just take care of her until I get out." Which I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, you ain't getting out
Mm.
based on what you've done. No, you're not getting out. You murdered somebody. You're robbing a bank. Yeah, you, no, you're not getting out. That's over with. Um, but yeah, she ends up, getting out of there actually safely, getting put in handcuffs, and that's how the movie ends. I thought it was, pretty interesting. There's some things in there that could have kind of they were convenient in a way to get to the point where it got to. Um, but overall, I think it's one of his better films,
Mm.
Tyler Perry, especially this year. And I mean, you combine this year and last year. I mean, Duplicity.
Yeah.
Um,
Aquaman.
Mia culpa. Yeah, acrimony, mea culpa. When you compare those, this is definitely better than that,
Hmm.
or better than those. Um, but what were your final thoughts about the end of that film?
Yeah, I definitely see the similarities in the things that you mentioned. Um, I think because of how this one wraps up, you have a little bit of Inception. You have a little.
Exception.
It's like, okay, what's the truth here? Um, did I believe what I believe because it's true? Because she was made to believe it, um, and that's not addressing many of the custodial issues. So I don't know.
Yeah, and also I felt like it was just piling on. Like he didn't have to do that. And I'm talking about Tyler Perry.
Mhm.
You know, where she gets the call from her mother about her daughter dying. I was like, come on now, you didn't have to do that. Like now she pretty much is thinking, oh, what do I have to live for? Like that was my whole world right there. Everything was to take care of her daughter, but now she's dead. Now she did say throughout the film, I have nobody, but her mother is calling her. Like, what? Why isn't her mother involved in this at all?
Hmm.
That's what I didn't get. What did you think about that?
Yeah, it was. She just had one offhand comment about her family being crazy. I think she didn't want them to be a part of anything. Which, in hindsight, maybe she's the problem.
Maybe I don't know. But I was just thinking, I'm like, what? The her, I mean, the way that she was talking, it was like their parents were dead, and like there was no family around at all. But nope. Uh, would have been nice to receive a little bit more backstory with that. But
Hmm.
hey, it all had to fit the narrative. Um, but I think this is one of his better films, Tyler Perry, as of late. Um, but let's go ahead and give this one a rating. So the lowest rating is trash, middle is background noise, and the highest is a banger. So how'd you rate the film Straw?
Um, um, I was thinking about the family piece, not not being involved, and as the story progresses, you find out this is really isn't a what should you call it, a reliable narrator in the story. Um, in Janaya, and it kind of makes you maybe kind of question or reevaluate some of the things that you saw or were told um, to this point about things that I guess don't make sense. Um, but I think beyond that, before it kind of wraps up in the story, it is interesting in the bank. I think there's intentionally you're only left with Janiyah, the bank manager, two tellers, and one of the elderly women for most of the time um, in the bank. And I thought maybe that was to display specifically Black women and any trauma or struggles you may have, or they may have. That others can relate to. And you had that happen, I think, subconsciously with that group kind of debriefing life together. And then in a more direct fashion with the live stream broadcast that was done while she was in the bank by one of the tellers and what was going on. Um, it brings you out of reality a little bit because you're like, how did you live stream to Facebook and like it get on the news? Like, no one knows you. You're not, it wouldn't be like publicly out. That didn't quite make sense, but you had the world listening to her plight, and there was a bit of a uh, rallying around her because of her situation. But again, once you find out this twist in the story, you're like, what? Nobody? How did the message not get back inside what what happened outside of the situation that led to the situation? And then you find out someone knew, but they just like, yeah, they told me. Told you when? I would like to know.
Yeah, some of the elements of the story don't fit together as well, but I did think it was one of the better ones for Tyler Perry. But what was your rating?
Oh, I would give this one a. Uh, I don't know. I think I am leaning towards a. It's a high background noise, and that's maybe not fair. I don't know. Um,
I think it's fair.
I because I liked it. It's definitely one that you don't really have to pay attention to the very end, except you get that twist at the end. So you don't really know what to believe when it's over, which is interesting. And that's where you get kind of, I feel like, a little bit of inception. Like, is this true? Is this not true? What really happened? But I think probably a high background noise.
Yeah, I mean, I will rate it the same thing, a high background noise, and this is one that I could definitely get through with Tyler Perry as far as his films. Like, it's not like so many dumb moments where
No,
I feel like, oh my goodness, like I'm just rolling my eyes
nobody's
because
wig
of how
was
dumb it
halfway
is.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I'll I'll give him his props for this one. But it's still a high background noise, even though, the
Mm,
whole movie took place in one day. Like
yeah.
like literally one day. Um, but yeah, I think that this is one of his better films.
Definitely for
Um,
Netflix.
yeah, I mean it's not winning any
No,
awards,
no.
definitely not
Of
that.
his like of the Tyler Perry Netflix universe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is, it might be the best. Really can't think of any other ones. Um, but any other thoughts about Straw?
No, nothing else for me.
Yeah, well, I think that does
Oh,
it for us at A&M Reviews. Thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to check out our other platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, and X, which are all linked in the description. And if you want to send us a message, click the message link to get featured on the show. And thanks for listening.